Every story hides a secret. Let's uncover it. As the story begins, we see a girl skating nervously across an icy surface. She looks terrified. Moments later, she rushes into a restroom, where she encounters another woman. The girl reveals that her name is Natascha and that she has been kidnapped. The scene then changes, showing a young girl dancing on top of a table inside a bar. This little girl is also Natascha. Her father quickly lifts her into his arms and showers her with affection. Natascha is only 10 years old. In reality, her parents are separated, and the next morning her mother tries to wake her up for school. Natascha keeps delaying, which frustrates her mother, who scolds her for making them both late. She also needs to get to work. After finally getting ready, Natascha heads to breakfast. Her mother notices her red eyes and immediately snaps, accusing her of going to the bar again. She even begins insulting Natascha's father in anger. After hearing someone insult her father, Natascha tries to defend him, but her mother suddenly slaps her. Crying, Natascha leaves the house and heads to school alone. While she is walking on the road by herself, a van stops beside her. A man steps out, grabs her, and forcefully pulls her onto his bike, kidnapping her. He takes her to a small room and locks her inside. After some time, when Natascha regains consciousness, she tries to open the door, but the room is completely dark. She screams and cries for help, yet no one can hear her voice. Suddenly, the man returns. He spreads a blanket on the floor as a bed. Natascha, still crying, begs him to let her go home, but he ignores her completely, walks out, and locks the door from the outside. She calls for help again and again, but there is no response. Left alone in the darkness, she breaks down and cries loudly. She takes off her sweater and uses it as a pillow. By now, Natascha has been locked in that room for a full 3 days. The kidnapper brings her a few biscuits and tells her stories while she eats. Listening to him and nibbling on the biscuits, Natascha slowly drifts off to sleep. As he starts to leave, she asks him to wish her good night, just like her mother used to do before bedtime. Surprisingly, the kidnapper does exactly that and wishes her good night in the same gentle way. 3 days have already passed since Natascha went missing, and her disappearance is now on every news channel and in the newspapers. The kidnapper watches the news with his grandmother, who has no idea that Natascha is being kept inside the same house. Later that night, he washes Natascha's hair and angrily yells that her parents aren't good people because they're not offering the amount of money he's demanding for her release. Hearing this, Natascha quietly explains that her family isn't rich. She realizes she can't pay the full amount. Hearing this, Ken becomes angry. He suddenly stops washing her hair midway and walks out of the room. Natascha is left to finish washing her own hair. The next morning, the kidnapper is watching TV with his mother when the doorbell rings. The police arrive and ask to check on his sister. He acts completely innocent in front of them and claims he never heard anything about Natascha on the news. He knew the police would eventually come, and after questioning him, they leave. Later that night, Natascha begins missing her parents deeply. The following day, the kidnapper brings her breakfast. He also installs an intercom in the room so he can listen to everything she says from upstairs. By now, 183 days, almost 6 months, have passed since Natascha was kidnapped. Natascha tries to teach the teddy bear by dressing it up like a student. She even draws a door lock on the wall with a pencil and pretends to open it, imagining her escape. Just then, the kidnapper's voice echoes through the intercom. He asks her if she has brushed her teeth. After a while, when he comes downstairs, Natascha tries to escape, but he catches her. Because of this attempt, the kidnapper punishes her by refusing to give her food. Natascha cries out, saying she's starving. She hasn't eaten anything for 4 days. She begs for food and says she just wants to go back to her mother. In this miserable condition, for long years pass. Natascha becomes physically and mentally very weak because the kidnapper often keeps her without food for days at a time. By now, she has been held captive for a total of 1,695 days. One day, the kidnapper allows her to step out of the basement to take a bath, but he still stays alert, as he doesn't trust her at all. That same day, the kidnapper's cleaning lady comes. She visits every weekend to clean the house and cook food for him. When she hands him the meal, she pats his coat and asks jokingly if he has a girlfriend. The kidnapper doesn't respond to her question, because it terrifies him deeply. When his panic settles, he brings Natascha upstairs and cuts off all her hair. It has been exactly 1,837 days since Natascha was abducted. But today, Natascha feels unusually happy. It's Christmas. She decorates the Christmas tree and even wraps a small gift. The kidnapper brings her some food. They sit together at the table and wish each other a Merry Christmas. Then he switches on the camera that Natascha had placed earlier, picks it up, and hands it to her. She thanks him. Natascha starts opening her gift and finds a Walkman inside. She unwraps the second gift and discovers the book she reads every day. Overwhelmed, she hugs the kidnapper and pleads with him to let her see her parents on this Christmas day. Hearing this, he becomes angry and says, "I am your family now." He tells her that she is no longer Natascha. "From now on, you are Viviana," he tells her, "and you may call me Wolfgang." A few days later, he orders her to clean the room filled with cement bags. While she is busy clearing the area, Wolfgang suddenly tears open one of the cement bags, causing the powder to burst all over Natascha. She complains and says she needs to take a shower. That night, Wolfgang tells her to sleep beside him. When they enter the bedroom, he ties one of her hands with a rope and fastens the other end to his own hand, so she can't escape while he's asleep. The next night, the two become intimate. Natascha asks him to take her out to the garden for a walk. Wolfgang agrees and lets her step outside for a short while before locking her back inside the basement. In the next scene, he brings her clothes to wear, wanting her to stay in front of him dressed the way he chooses. Over time, Wolfgang slowly begins to trust her, so he even takes her with him to a grocery store. Whenever he leaves her alone for a moment, Natascha keeps thinking about running away, but he always returns before she gets the chance. A few days later, he brings her out of the basement and takes her to his room, where he gives her a gift. Turns out to be a white wedding dress. Along with it, he hands her a checklist so she can prepare. Wolf had now decided that Natascha would be his wife. But Natascha's mind was filled with questions, and when she found a chance, she asked him why he kidnapped her in the first place. Wolf then reveals the truth. He first saw her at her mother's shop when she was only 8 years old. From that moment, he began thinking about this plan and slowly started preparing for it. He even built a secret basement under his house, buying materials from different stores so no one would suspect him. Hearing all this leaves Natascha completely shocked. Realizing she may never escape this house, Natascha decides to end her life. She sets her clothes on fire, but just then, she hears Wolf approaching. So she quickly pours water over the fire and puts it out, but Falk notices the smell of smoke. He immediately understands that she tried to take her own life. Because of this, he warns her that if she ever does something like that again, the consequences will be bad. Wolf starts beating her, and she sits on the floor crying, begging to go outside. She says she wants to see the outside world and that she is exhausted from living like this. Wolf refuses to let her leave. Through tears, she writes a letter describing how he hits her and forces himself on her. Ever since she was imprisoned there, she had been writing a letter every single day about her suffering. Meanwhile, winter has arrived. Snow is falling outside, and Wolf takes her out in his car. By this time, she has spent 87 days in captivity. They go ice skating together, the same scene shown at the beginning of the movie. Both of them are wearing goggles so no one can recognize them. At that moment, Natascha says, she tells him she needs to use the restroom, so he takes her all the way to the ladies' washroom, keeping his eyes fixed on her the entire time to make sure she can't run away. Inside, Natascha meets another woman. Natascha tries to explain who she really is, but the woman can't understand her language at all. Realizing this, Natascha feels completely helpless. As soon as the woman steps out of the washroom, she starts saying Natascha's name. He immediately understands what must have happened inside and takes Natascha back home. On the way, he asks her what happened in the washroom, but Natascha refuses to say anything. She insists nothing happened. Hearing this, Wolf loses his temper, slaps her across the face, and continues hitting her until she is covered in bruises. Her face swells up badly. She can't even move her lips properly, and the pain is unbearable. After this, she writes another letter about her suffering. Just like the others, she places this letter inside the box with the rest. A full 2,000 days had passed, and Natascha had finally turned 18. Wolf brought her out of the basement, where he had set up a surprise to celebrate her 18th birthday. Seeing all this, Natascha felt genuinely happy. Wolf even gifted her a beautiful dress. They cut the cake together and shared a dance afterwards. One day, while Wolf was trimming the trees in the garden, Natascha went to help him. At that moment, their neighbors saw them and smiled. Natascha quickly returned to the basement and, looking at herself in the mirror, called herself stupid because she still couldn't figure out a way to escape from there. Later that night, Natascha prepared dinner, and the two of them ate together. The next day, she helped Wolf clean his car. the same vehicle he had used to kidnap her years ago, and now he was planning to sell it. While they were outside, Wolf received a phone call and went inside the house. Natascha noticed that the gate was left open, and she immediately seized the chance to run away. After running a long distance, she slips into a woman's house and tells her everything about who she is. The woman understands the situation immediately and quickly calls the police. By now, Natascha had been missing for a total of 3,069 days. The police take her into custody and inform her parents, who soon arrive to take her home. Meanwhile, the man goes to the railway tracks and ends his life. Natascha sits in the car with her parents as they drive back home. She already knew that Wolf would never be captured, because he always said that if she ever managed to escape, he would kill himself. And that's the story. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more thrilling twists and surprises.